welcome to episode 14 of the Craft House Magic podcast. I'm your host, Ellie Jones. Thank you so much for listening to me again. Thank you so much for coming back, and welcome to new viewers. Nice to see you. So today is Sunday the 2nd of April. April already? Oh my gosh, that's April already. It's less than 5 weeks to my wedding. You'll see I've got lots of stuff done, so it's okay. We're getting there. I'm drinking Red Bush tea today in a rather boring blue mug. It's from John Lewis. And this is Tetley Red Bush tea, and it's just a nice sort of standard tea you can drink with milk, and it doesn't have too much caffeine in, which is good because it keeps me awake. Even in tea, how ridiculous. Right, so you can find me as Craft House Magic on Instagram and Ravelry, and you can find other links to my social media sites on my website crafthhousemagic.co.uk. Now, I haven't written a blog on there for ages, but I'm hoping to sometime, and I've said this before, and I really am going to try and write some posts on there. It's just difficult to fit in the time when you're doing podcasts and things as well. So today we've got some knitting, some sewing, some bobbin lace, some crochet, which is out of my blast from the past, and a little bit of confessions, but I have been really good this time. I haven't bought loads of stuff, just one order. There may have been multiple yarn balls in this order, but it was very good value, so that's very important. And every ball is, I know exactly what I'm going to do with it, so it's fine, it's fine. So I had a shop update yesterday. There's only a couple of bags left. If you want to have a look what's on there, you're very welcome to on my Etsy shop. I will show you a couple of the bags at the end of what's left in my shop, so you can have a look at them. I'm going to do a new knit along. Hopefully you can all join me. So this knit along, I've decided, is going to be called Little Pleasures. So I've been having lots of pleasure of knitting very little small projects, such as parts of my Cosy Memories blanket. So I thought that we could include things like mittens and socks, and even sort of sections of your Cosy Memories blanket so you can enter. And I thought that we could have you can double dip in other knit alongs, but I want you to have no works in progress except if it's part of the Cosy Memories blanket, and I want you to have done at least 12 squares as part of the knit along to make you eligible for a prize. So we've got some prizes. So the lovely Cassia from Rainbow Cloud Yarns, have I said that right? That's right, yes. Okay, Rainbow Cloud has sent us a lovely little minis kit to give away, and this is absolutely beautiful. It's got such a lovely Eastery theme to it, and it comes with a little progress keeper there, so that would be really lovely. So one of the winners could win this set of minis, but I'm also going to put one of my little sock bags in there. It doesn't have to be this one. If I contact the winner, I'll say which sort of bag do you like, and then you can choose whichever one you like, but it'll be this size for this one. So that'll be one prize. And when we've got a lovely donation from the lovely Anne. So Anne is Annie Durham on Ravelry, and she's going to be donating a book, and it's called Haiku Knits, and the author is Anya Telpert, so it's a beautiful hard-covered book, so she's donating that for us, so that would be lovely to give away. So that's 2 prizes, so I may add some other prizes there for the knit along, but I'll keep you posted on that. So the knit along will start on the 1st of May, and it will go into the end of June. So what I'm going to do is, because it's so exciting, we need to talk about it already, is I'll open a thread so we can chat about what patterns we're going to be doing over the knit along, but I won't actually start the official knit along until the 1st of May. And one of the reasons why I don't want to start it until 1st of May is that I've got a knitting pattern that I'm currently working on, which I'll show you a bit about in my works in progress. But I haven't quite finished yet, so it'll be completely finished and test knitted by the 1st of May, so that anybody who actually knits my sock pattern, which will be free, will be eligible for an extra sort of entry into the prize draw. Okay, so I thought that'd be exciting. Yay! So the sock pattern is going to be a sort of wedding themed one, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So first of all, if we start with our knitting projects, I'll talk about knitting first, and then I'll go into the sewing and other bits and bobs. So normally I talk about the finished objects. Excuse me, I have a sip of my tea. But I haven't got a completely finished object. I've got a hoe! Yay! So this is half of my Dobby's sock. So the yarn is from Little French Meadow, and it's the Dobby's sock colour. And it's basically a vanilla sock pattern that I've done, but I have used the Fish Lips Kiss heel. So I'll just show you the yarn. So this is the little, I should have brought the yarn band, but you can see what the colour is, and I did show it in the last episode, I think. So it's a really nice mixture of purple and sort of green shades, and it's called Dobby's Sock, and I think she's got some on her website on the Etsy shop if you want to go and look there to find it. So this is the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and the Fish Lips Kiss heel is by Socks Therapist. I'll just show you the top there so I don't give you any more information. So that's the Socks Therapist. It's a paid for pattern, but it's only a couple of pounds, and it's well worth it because it does give a nice finish just on the edge here. I have been messing around with this pattern because I do have quite a high arch, and I wanted just to see how I could improve the fit. So I cast on 68 stitches on 2.25mm needles. I used higher sharps, and because I used 68 stitches, I actually, when I was starting this heel, I picked up 6 stitches on the beginning of the heel, and then I cast them, well, I not cast them off, I decreased 6 stitches at the end of the heel just to give me a bit more room. And I also kept decreasing until there was only 10 stitches left, and considering I've got 68 stitches on the needles, that's more than it suggests in the pattern. I do think I probably decreased a bit too much because it is a little bit pointy, as you can see on the sock blockers, but I just wanted to test it out, and it doesn't look too bad on. Increasing 6 stitches with this number of stitches and these needles did give me a bit more room, but I probably could have done with more space. I think that if I'd have actually cast on 72 stitches to begin with, it would have fit my foot better, but it does appear to be a bit tight up here, so it's more to do with my tensional issues rather than the increasing enough on the heel. So that's enough waffling about my Dobby's sock, but it's really cute. Really enjoying knitting those. I haven't cast on the second one yet, but I've cast on a different sock. So I've been working on my design for my socks, which are themed to do with my wedding. Now I decided to call them To Love and to Cherish, and I've only just started the sort of patterned bit here, and they're basically going to be like infinity symbols doubled up on both sides. But I need to mess around with the pattern a bit more and get it test knitted before I release it, obviously, but it is going to be a free pattern. The yarn I'm using at the moment is from Peggy May Yarns, and this is the confetti colourway, so I thought that would be really appropriate, confetti colourway, considering it's a wedding themed sock. You have to do these silly things, don't you? It's great fun. So this sock I've cast on 68 stitches on 2.25mm needles. I think that this yarn is slightly plumper than the Little French Meadow Dobby's sock, so I think 68 stitches will be fine. I think that the Little French Meadow is on the slightly finer side, so it makes it slightly tighter on my legs, so I think you just have to be careful of how thin your yarn is as well compared to how many stitches you cast on. So anyway, I'll stop waffling on about that. So this is a beautiful confetti colourway, and there's little spots of pink and blue, and I shall show you the ball. It's hidden away in my Eldenwood craft bag that I got from the lovely Emma. I'll just show you a little badge. I think I showed you this before. So my yarn is the Confetti by Peggy May Yarns, and it's Diane who's the dyer behind Peggy May Yarns, and it's really pretty. It's the same sock base as I had for my Frosty the Snowman socks, and also the one I bought at Christmas, and I can't remember what it was called. It was a Christmas colourway. Sorry, Diane. It was your lovely Christmas colourway that was on the same base, but it's really nice, sort of soft as you can get, but also just a little bit durable, if you know what I mean. So you know that this is going to be, this will last, but it's really nice and soft as well. So there's my design so far, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to design the pattern so that people can follow it for 56, 60 stitches, 64, 68 and 72. So you can, you know, you don't have to work out how to put the pattern on for all the different sizes of stitch count. So that'll be fun. Yay. So like I said before, for the knit along, if you do knit my pattern, then you get an extra entry for the prizes at the end of the cal. So that'll be really exciting. I hope it works out okay. If anyone's interested in test knitting the pattern, if you contact me either on Ravelry or through the comments below, I only need a couple of test knitters, but if anybody's interested, first come, first served. It'd be lovely to hear from you. So I've also got my Cozy Memories blanket. I'm getting a bit obsessed with this. So I'm going to show you what I've done last time. So I think I got up to, I'm going to try and fold it so you can't see the new bit. So I'd done that much last time. Then I've done a row. And this is all my fondant fibre yarns. It's so cute. I love it. So these 5 here were out of a set. What was it called? It was called the Old Romance Ski Nets from Fondant Fibre, and it was a lovely, gorgeous little set. And I think this one here is my favourite. Absolutely gorgeous. It's so nice to knit with Deb's yarns. They're always so lovely. And there's a little bit of sparkle in some of these as well. You can especially notice it in this one, and this one on the end is also from Fondant Fibre as well. So this is, I knit a shawl on with this yarn a little while ago, and I thought it would go nice with the Fondant Fibre row as well. So this is also in Deb's Spangle base, and it's called Harmony, this colourway. I'm afraid I can't remember what each of these other ones are called, but I know that it was out the Old Romance Ski Net set, and they're really pretty. Absolutely gorgeous. So that row is finished, but then I've also done another row. I'm going to flatten it on my face so you can see them better. So these yarns I got from the lovely Miriam. We did a little yarn swap a little while ago, and I've done a Miriam row. So thank you, Miriam. Hello. So I finished a row there. I forgot to, there was a little tag she sent me from where the yarn was from. I should have found it before I started the podcast, but I don't know where it is now, so I'll have to dig it out somewhere. If you are interested in where these yarns are from, just give me a message and I'll try and dig out the little tag. I'm really sorry, Miriam. And on the back there, I've had my little stitch marker that Miriam sent me as well, a little cheap. That's so cute. And then I started another row. I've only got halfway through it this time. These are from Cassia's Rainbow Cloud Shop yarn. Oh, these are lovely too. So there's 2 different bases I've got here. This one is Cassia's deluxe base, and then these 2 are the standard sort of base that she does. But actually they're both really, really lovely. I think to start with, in the skein, you can see that this one's got a real nice sort of luster to the yarn. And these are slightly plumper, but when you knit with them, they're both absolutely gorgeous. So I definitely recommend Cassia's yarns. She's got the shop called Rainbow Cloud Shop that I showed you the little mini skeins before. It's on Etsy, and she does quite a lot of the little mini skeins, but she's also started to do full skeins as well, so keep an eye out on her shop. So they're really lovely. So I'm going to have a full row of Rainbow Cloud, and in fact I might probably have several rows of each. So I've only actually got 6 squares on each row now, because I want to make a big sort of 6x6 square, and then start doing another 6 along here and making up another square, because I like the idea of having sort of a squarer little blanket as I'm working with it, rather than having sort of little strips that haven't been finished. I just love the feeling of having all the yarns in all joined up. It's just amazing. You won't believe it. Now, I resisted the Cozy Memories blanket for a long time. I used to think, what would you want all those yarns together? They don't match at all. But now I get it. I really get it. It's such a pleasure. This is so nice just to sit on and think, oh, what yarn shall I pick next? It's lovely. It's just so much pleasure because I've been doing a lot of dressmaking, and it's quite sort of, well, for me, it's hard work. I don't really, it's not particularly hard work in terms of exercise, but I feel tired when I've done a couple of hours of dressmaking, and knitting on this blanket is just such a pleasure, just to sit and pick some cute yarn and just really, it's one of those little pleasures. That is why I was thinking about this knit along. It's one of those little pleasures. So that I've been working on that, and it's getting big, yay! I know that Emma from Eldenwood Crafts got one it's really beautiful as well, and Beverly, who's Gary's Only Gal on Instagram, she's got a beautiful massive blanket now. It looks like it could cover at least the sofa. She showed a picture and it's lovely. Hello to Emma and Beverly. Hi. So I can't stop showing you this. I'm just going a bit nuts today, aren't I? So there's my Cozy Memories blanket, and it folds up just a little bit. So it's almost like a proper blanket. So I forgot to say, I probably told you in the last episode though, I'm using 20cm Knit Pro Zing 2.75mm needles for these. I'm not quite sure whether I'd prefer to use like a little shorter circular needle rather than sticking out. It wasn't so much of an issue when I'd only got a few squares on, but they do tend to poke into the rest of my blanket, so I might have to switch that up, but I love it anyway. Ooh. Right, so I've been really bad because I've been doing so much dressmaking. I've not been working on my proper shawls. I have done a few rows though, which is pitiful. Look at this, literally about an inch on my Gainham shawl. So this is by the lovely Ruth at Knitterarium, and you can find her patterns on Ravelry. You can see how beautiful this is coming up. I absolutely love it. It's just that I'm too tired to even bother looking at a pattern at the moment when I come to my knitting time. So it's either really easy like socks or Cozy Memories blanket at the moment, but it is looking rather lovely. And I was actually thinking that I could save this for on the plane to Florida, because it's lace weight, it's going to be quite small to carry on. And it's quite a nice intuitive pattern as well, and although I need to look at the pattern, it's quite easy to follow, and that would be quite good to knit on the plane. So I'm thinking I might save it anyway. This is an excuse for me not knitting on it for the last couple of weeks very much. It's been 3 weeks since the last podcast. Oh, I'm so sorry. So I've been on my hen sort of afternoon since the last podcast, hence the reason why I didn't podcast last week. We went for a lovely afternoon tea. What was the place called? Oh, Oddfellows in Chester. That was really lovely. We just had afternoon tea in the room with lots of other people. We didn't have a separate room at all. And it was quite expensive in itself, and if you go for a separate room it cost even more. But we did have Prosecco, which was a bit naughty. But we had some lovely different teas and cakes, so that was really lovely. And I got to wear my dress, but I didn't take a photograph of it for you. The one I did as a mock-up for my wedding dress. I'm so rubbish. I'll see if I can do it for the next podcast, just so that you can see how it fits on me. Right, so I think that's all my... I keep waffling today, I do apologise. I think that's all my works in progress for my knitting. So you can see how I haven't actually done much knitting in the last 3 weeks compared to normal, just because I've had to do so much dressmaking. So I'm going too far on my list without looking at it. I have to check to make sure I'm where I am. So we've done... Right, we're going to go on to sewing. I've done loads of sewing the last few weeks. It's just like crazy, absolutely crazy. So 3 weeks ago I was panicking because I'd only got like 8 weeks before the wedding, and I'd got 2 bridesmaid dresses to make, and I hadn't even started them. And I'd also got the flowers to finish for my bobbin lace. But I finished both of the bridesmaid dresses. I'm just going to have to stand up so I can show you. This is just one of them. They're both the same. I've tied this tight because otherwise it falls down. So I've got 2 nieces called Grace and Ellie, and I've made these simple dresses for them to wear for the wedding. So it's got like there's a lightweight polyester lining, and then there's like a tulle layer over the top, and then I've stitched these lace motifs over the top. I think I've got one. So I bought them as panels like this. I think I showed you in one of the last episodes, and I decided to, I can't really hold them up very well. I've joined sort of 2 on there to form like a circle in the centre, just to have a bit of detail on the front. Now, I may, if I have time, sew some beads onto there and some sequins just to jazz it up a little bit, but I'm going to work on my dress first. Oh, I haven't brought the pattern with me. I didn't mean to show it to you. Let me grab the pattern. I'm just running off. I'm back! Right, so you can see how I store my pattern pieces now in these Ziploc bags. So this is the pattern I used. It's a simplicity pattern, and I went for the full length one that's pictured there, and that lady's wearing it just here. Now, I cut out all the pieces. Well, I think I explained to you in the last episode that what I was going to do is there's like a vest top underneath on this dress here, and I thought that it would be a little bit better because they're younger children, well, they're sort of 11 years old, to just have a lining that just covers the whole of the chest, just so that it's a bit more, I don't know, shows a little bit of decorum, as someone said on the comments. So I did that. I cut out just a lining in the same shape as the top layer, and then the pattern, I don't think you can probably see it in that picture, there's a little bit of a cuff that's done in the lining fabric of the dress. Now, well, I did actually cut them out, but I thought actually these dresses fitted in better with my other bridesmaid dresses, which I'll show you in a second, if I just basically turn them over and top stitch them shut. I was a bit under time pressure, so rather than hand stitching them all nice and neatly, I just top stitched them. So they could have been more perfect, but I just decided that I didn't have enough time. So there's like a bit that's sort of open with a little hook and eye here, and then there's this invisible zip at the back. And then I've actually, this is off the bottom of the other bridesmaid dresses, and I've just done like a overlock stitch on the edge, just to close in the edges and use it as a tie to tie it in with the other bridesmaid dresses. I'm shadowing myself here, sorry about that. So the skirt has got, there's two layers of tulle over the top, and the this polyester lining on again, just to give it a bit more of a sort of princess feel, I suppose. The tulle I just cut straight, and then I've just done a simple hem on the bottom of that. So these are going down to the floor for the kids. I shouldn't call them kids. Sorry, Grace and Ellie, if you're watching. So there's that one. So there's 2 of those for the younger bridesmaids. And for the older bridesmaids, I bought these from Coast in the sale in January, because I just figured that actually I couldn't even get the fabric for this price. So they were £150 reduced to £50, I think in Debenhams. And I saw these, and they've got a similar sort of style to the ones I've made for the younger ones, with the lace, well, the lace rather than the tulle, and with this, it's got this cute little band around the waist. So what I've done actually is these, I've had to shorten these for both of my older bridesmaids, adult bridesmaids. I shouldn't say older, it makes them sound young. Sorry Liz, sorry Sam. So what I had to do for I won't say who it is because she might be listening. She'll be cross with me to say which one it is. So one of the bridesmaids, this little strip here that just goes under the bust was just a little bit tight. So I unpicked this seam and then cinched it in again with just threading some cotton through and spreading out, so I had an extra inch across here, and then just overlock the edges again, just so that there was a little bit more space. So I did an adjustment on that one, and this is the bottom that I took the waistband for from the other dresses. So you can see now where I've got this fabric from. This doesn't look very good when it's just on the hanger, but they do look lovely on the bridesmaids. I'll put pictures up of the wedding day with everybody in their dresses. So at least I didn't have to, excuse me, at least I didn't have to make 4 dresses, because I just would not have had enough time. It was ridiculous. So all the bridesmaids are now done, and I've been working on my dress. Thank goodness. I was getting a bit stressed that I wouldn't ever get it started even. So I've cut out all 51 pieces for the dress. So what there is there's a satin layer and then a tulle layer over the top of the top hair area with a lining underneath it, and then the skirt will have an underlining, the satin, and 3 layers of tulle over the top. That's the plan so far anyway. So I've been working on the top. This isn't going to show up very well. I should have put my dressmaker's dummy in here. So I've put the sleeves into the top of the dress so far. It's the same pattern as the pink dress I showed you before when I did a practice. But I'm really pleased with this lace. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, because, let's see if I can find a good picture. If you look at this photograph, the strap used to go right under the arm. Now I moved it to across the back because it was really not flattering on me. Which means the sleeve is not going to fit me, so I had to adapt it a little bit. So I was a little bit blasé with this. I just thought, so this is the original sleeve piece. You can see the shape of it. And then I literally just sort of, I put it on my dressmaking dummy on top of the dress I'd already made, just so I can see where it was going to fit. And I laid it over there, and then I guessed what bits needed extending and what bits didn't. And this is what the sleeve ended up looking like. This pattern bit here is basically where it goes into where it fits into the shoulder. So there's where my strap goes, if this makes sense. That's why it looks a little bit of a funny shape. So the sleeve would normally have gone closer into the armpit, but then I've had to pull it out a little bit more. I've tried it on me and I think it looks okay. Hopefully it looks okay on the day. And I'll just show you how that came out again. So you can see this is where the strap is further away from the arm, and I've just got an extra sort of bit of a panel of lace rather than showing my arms, because one needs to improve one's figure with flattering bits of lace. How I've turned really posh now, one. So I've got my both sleeves in, and if you look on the inside, I've fully lined it, and they're all hand stitched on this side to completely enclose the lace now. So the top is more or less finished, but I do have to add some lace to the front bust area, so I'm going to do that afterwards, because I didn't want it being enclosed in sort of the seam. So I will have that issue a little bit with the lace coming out off the sleeve, but I'm going to try and extend where the lace pattern is into the sleeve. We'll see how that goes. So we have a top. So this afternoon, when I'm uploading this podcast, I'm going to try and sew some of the skirt panels together. So my hope is, if for the next podcast, which will be in 2 weeks, that I'll have the skirt and the dress completely constructed apart from the lace bits I've got to add on. And then I can just think, well, at least I can wear it. There's no, you know, if I don't end up adding every little bit of lace, it doesn't matter. At least it's in one piece. And I have now got, so it would have been 5 weeks on Friday, so it's 4 weeks this Friday coming, which really isn't much time. I'd anticipated having a shorter period of full-time work and having a couple of months before the wedding to do all this at home, and I would have then been able to make full bridesmaid dresses, but no. It's all good fun. It's also making it so much cheaper as well. I think I've probably mentioned this before, but I tried one on in a wedding dress shop just to see what sort of shapes fitted me, and the one I wanted was £2,000, which is just ridiculous for a dress. I couldn't even imagine paying £2,000 for a dress, although the fabric was over £400. But then at least I have fun playing with it and making it up. Not so fun when there's not so many weeks to go. Anyway, I'll stop going on about my wedding stuff. Actually, I won't, because I'm going to talk about bobbin lace. So I showed a little video about I'd finished all my bobbin lace flowers, so I've now cut them shorter, because originally I'd cut them long because they were going to be in my bouquet, and I planned to do 15 or 20 of these. I don't know what planet I was on. So each of these flowers takes about 20-25 hours to complete. There's 6 petals of varying sort of complicatedness. There we go, there's another new word I've made up. And they've got wire on the outside of them, so I can bend them into shape, and then I was able just to use some florist tape and some wire to make them so I can then be used as buttonholes and some corsages for the older bridesmaids. So they're finished. There's 6 of those. I have no idea how I'd have done like 20 of them for a bouquet. It just would have been ridiculous. So I think I mentioned this on the last podcast, but I've got 2 adult bridesmaids that are going to have these as corsages. There's 3 males that'll have them as buttonholes, including my husband-to-be. And one's going to go on the top of the cake, so I think that would look quite nice. So the rest of them are just popped up there, out the way. Hopefully they don't get too dusty before the big day. They've only got 4 weeks, it'll be fine. I'm just going to work out how I'm going to attach these to the corsages now. I think the buttonholes will be fine, but the corsages are, I think I'm going to use some sort of attractive elastic. I don't know. We'll have to see. We might just end up with loads of organza ribbon wrapped around a wrist. So that's all good fun. So I think that's all my sort of wedding related stuff. I'm really sorry if you're interested in my wedding craftiness, but I think some people are, so I'll still go through it anyway. So that's all my dressmaking and bobbin lace to do with the wedding. I've managed to fit in a sewing class at my local quilt group as well. How on earth I haven't managed to do this, I don't know. But I did a class on bargello piecing. So these are all little pieces that have been put together in this sort of shape, and this is called bargello. Now, the pattern that they give me to do in the class was supposed to be a cushion cover, which would have looked like this. But me being me, I have to add some stuff to it. So I've made it a long piece, you can sort of see. So what I'm going to do is make this into a wall hanging, because I thought it's really pretty. It's got lots of blues. I love a blue. You can't beat a blue. But I'm going to have it, I'm going to have it hanging that way, I think, with some free motion quilting on it. But you can see how all the pieces have been joined together. And so I think it took me about 4 hours to do that, because I was lots of chatting during the day as well. So that was great fun in my local quilt group. So that's all my sewing that I've got to show you for today. But I've got a blast from the past, which is crochet. So I've seen that loads of people have been doing these sort of crocheted blankets, but from lots of different ends to use them up. But I haven't quite got onto the idea yet. Thing is though, I said this about the Cozy Memories blanket and I love it, so you'll never know, you might see me do more on the podcast. But a little while ago I did one of these sort of wavy quilts. Let me look what it's supposed to be called. So it's called the Neat Ripple, and the pattern is by Lucy from Attic 24. And I chose to use basically it's acrylic yarn that I got from my local yarn shop, which is Starcroft Special DK, and I just chose to use acrylic because it's just so easy to wash, and I wasn't about to buy loads and loads of yarn to make a whole blanket in a very expensive yarn at the time. So I might make another one in the good stuff. But actually, I think as acrylic goes, this is probably the best one I've ever tried. So it's Starcroft Special DK, and it just feels really nice to knit with. Some of the acrylics that you can buy are just so awful. They're so squeaky, and it's just, But this is good fun. And the colours I used were Petrol, that's 1708, Teal 1062, Sage 1752 and Meadow 1065. So there was 4 colours I'd used for that. And that is very well used in front of the television. Adam always grabs this one. I've got lots of little lap quilts in the living room, but he never picks those up. He always picks this one up because he thinks it's warmer. So my Cozy Memories blanket is going to be amazing because it's made out of all the good stuff. Right, so that's my blast from the past for this week. We're going to move on to gadget. I cannot believe I have not showed you this before. I'm going to put it on. So basically, I can't see things close up, especially if I'm knitting a very fine lace or I'm doing some cross stitch or things. This is brilliant. It's made by Rolson. It says it on the headband. And you can get these. I got this from Amazon for about £10, I think. And there's an adjustment to go on your different size head. And here you've got different lenses for depending on how close you want to see it. I don't know. Hold on a sec. I'm so disorganised today. So the lenses come in a little box. You get different magnifications so that you can adjust it according to what you're trying to look at. And this is so brilliant. I love it so much. The trouble is, if you do wear it for a couple of hours, you end up with a stripe across your head, which is very attractive. But it's just so much better than those. I used to have one. It's like a round with little legs with a cord that goes around your neck and you used to rest it on your chest. I used to find that so difficult because it would never be in the right position. But with this, because it's attached to your head, it's perfect. Brilliant. So I definitely recommend that. I'm sliding down my chair again. We won't want it to fall on the floor. Oh dear. So that was my little gadget for this week, which I definitely recommend you to get one, and they're only about £10, which is brilliant. Absolutely one of the most useful things I've ever bought. I have just purchased another gadget, which I might show you next time, but I felt that it was too early to be able to form an opinion and tell you about it before I showed you on the podcast. So I'll talk to you about that maybe in the next episode. So we're down to confessions. Oh no! Actually, I've been so good. I'll show you. The fact that it's in a box isn't so good, but it was very good value for money. Oh, and I can actually look at those babies. Oh, so I did an order to Knit Picks. And if you're in the UK, even though it's an American company, you can get free postage if you spend over £35. So of course I had to spend over £35, but all that cost me £35, so I don't think that's too bad. And it's all beautiful, beautiful stuff. And can we see the theme again? It's all blue. So I got a couple of different types of Felici. I don't know if they've got... Do they have names on them? I should have looked it up. Oh, here we go. That's called Soft Serve. That's really nice. I thought actually that would be quite good for like baby things as well. Some little booties would be brilliant in that. But I do plan to do a pair of socks in there. And this one's called Limeade. I nearly just pronounced that so ridiculously, but it's okay. I realised when I said it. So this is the most sort of summery yarn that I could ever imagine. So that will be lovely. Not summery, spring-like, I should say. So they're going to be socks as well. So I've also planned, I've got a couple of DK weights here to knit a brioche hat. And I thought that would be lovely, the grey and the blue together. So I'll have a look. I can't remember what the name of the pattern is. It's the Liguria. I think that's how you pronounce it. And the pattern's by Katrin Schubert, and I'll pop a photograph in here. And it's basically a beautiful brioche hat, and I think that will be lovely. So this is 100% superwash merino wool in a DK weight from Knit Picks, and it's called Swish DK. So that will be lovely. I'm really looking forward to casting that on, even though I should be doing wedding dress stuff. I'll get most of it done, and then I'll cast some more. So then I've got, see, I have bought these 4, but I may just pick 3 out of these for some striped mittens. I'm contemplating either omitting the lighter one or the darker one. I'm not sure. I did originally purchase this blue to go with this sock, the limeade one, but we'll see. I'm not quite sure. It's definitely going to be those 2 anyway, but either this one or that one, or both of them together. So we'll see. So that pattern I was going to do was the striped mittens according to Badigak. I can't pronounce this, I'm really sorry. And it's by Lena Gerard. So that pattern's lovely. I've been looking at it for ages, and I've had it on my Ravelry list of things to do for like forever. And I thought, I'm just going to buy it. So all this is planned for exactly what I'm going to do. Although I did just buy some more sock yarn, but at least there's 2 projects that are definitely not socks. I'm always knitting socks though, so I can never have too much sock yarn. I also bought a stitch dictionary. How have I survived without a stitch dictionary for so long? How ridiculous. I'd seen Ruth from Knitterarium had got 2 beautiful ones. I think they were Japanese ones with very exotic stitches in there, so I thought I'd get one as well. But although mine's just a basic one. But actually this looks really useful. There's 300 different stitches, and there's lace and cables and things. So for me, I think this will do me for now. I'll let you know whether I use very many stitches from there, but from the reviews on Amazon it seemed like it would be quite good, and it does look good on first glance, so I'll let you know how I get on with that. So that was my purchases. So I was very organised. So one of the reasons why I wanted to buy a stitch dictionary is I want to get into more designing, because I really do enjoy designing my own patterns. So there was a purpose to it. It wasn't just random ordering. So that's my confessions, which is very well behaved this week. And that's 3 whole weeks of purchases as well. 3 whole weeks, 1 book and a box of yarn. Very well behaved. Oh dear. So I think that's all my sort of crafty sections. I think we've just got Ask Me Anything and to show you a couple of things from my shop left. I'm going to have a sip of my tea because I've been rambling on for ages. I hope I'm not boring you guys too much. Tell me off if I'm waffling. Well, I probably am, so. Right, so Ask Me Anything. I had, oh, this is funny. The Jill, who's Space Star on Ravelry, was saying to me, oh, how close is your tea to your lovely wedding fabric? It's okay. It was a good 30 centimetres. And I will think of you every time I've got fabric anywhere near tea now. Thank you, Jill. So that was lovely. And then Anne, who's Annie Durham on Ravelry, was also asking me, sorry, whether I use soak, which is like a wool wash stuff for woolens, and I haven't actually tried it yet. I don't know if any of you guys have tried it yet. Let us know what you think about it. But I was telling her what I actually use. So I either use, well, for a long time I've used just a normal wool wash that you can get from the supermarket, and I just soak my woolens. And then I tended to put them in softener, which I'll talk about again in a minute, which is a bit naughty. But recently I've been using those sock soap bars, and it's really satisfying rubbing the soap into the socks. But sometimes I don't always have time to do that, so that's like my treat washing of socks, which sounds ridiculous, but I love it. And I've been getting the soap bars from Fondant Fibre, and she does some really nice flavours. One was called Tea Rose and the other's called Orchard that I've tried. They were both really nice, so I'd recommend those. So Anne was saying that I really shouldn't be using softener on my socks. Oh no! Well, I kind of knew that I wasn't supposed to, but she explained it really well, so I think I'm going to tell you guys what she'd put. So she says that fabric conditioner chemically coats the fibres and it can cause them to stiffen, which isn't good. It reduces the natural lustre and softness and can result in later pilling and deteriorate the fibre so that it can actually degrade faster, which isn't good. So maybe I should stop using softener, but sometimes it's so lovely and soft. Well, it's got a lovely, I think major reason why I use softener is because it smells really lovely and it's quite strong, and I probably use way too much in all my clothes. But the soap bars are a good alternative. I don't use the softener when I use the soap bars because the smell sort of lingers in a little bit better. A really, really nice smell. And Anne suggests that you can actually put a little tiny bit of vinegar in, and it's supposed to be a natural softener to the wool. So that's really interesting as well. So thank you so much, Anne. And I think that's all for Ask Me Anything today. And I've just got a few things to run through that I've got left in my shop after the update yesterday. So if you're not interested in that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. So it's just a few things for my shop. There's not an awful lot left, but I did show you this before. This is a sort of wisteria pattern that I've got, and this is my sock size with my label and a little, I always like to have a little pocket in there. This is the sock size, just so that you can actually stick it in a tote or a handbag. That's why there's no handle on these. I've got one of the knit fabric. I absolutely love this. It's one of the Downton Abbey range. And then I've lined this one with like a blue, light blue fabric. And then I've got my little label in there. Lovely. And then I've got one with bottles. I've only got enough fabric to do one more of these, so once this one's gone and the one I'm going to make up, then I won't have any more of this fabric. So if you do want this fabric, I'd get some quick. I've done the pocket in the same fabric as the outside on this one with the label, and then it's got a little thing on the tag. And lastly, I've got one medium-sized bag which comes with a little notions pouch and a DPN case. You can see that is lined in yellow, the same with the little pocket, and then this bag is yellow as well with a pocket, and then a zip, and then it's got a little flower on it. There we go. So that's slightly larger set. You could probably, I didn't measure this before, I think you can get 400 gram skeins in this bag because it opens up at the bottom. It's a square bottom there. And it's got some really pretty spring tulips. I haven't got any more of this fabric, so that'll be the last one of those. So that's all that's left in the shop. I won't be doing, I may do a shop update on the 1st of May, but we will have to see because I'm getting married on the 5th. If not, there will be an update in the beginning of June, definitely, after I get married, and I'll have a lot less jobs to do. It's amazing how many things there are to do with weddings. It's ridiculous. You wouldn't think that there's so much to do, especially when you're trying to make everything yourself and also do everything on the cheap. I've bought cakes from Marks and Spencer's as well. I'm going to decorate myself with a bobbin lace flower and things, so I just like to make things cheaper. It just seems ridiculous paying £500 for a cake. Which will just get scoffed in like a day. Anyway, I shall stop boring you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye!